Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be taking you through an ab routine to help you get shredded just in time for the summer. This is week 9 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine, and it's going to be the same workout as last week. The only difference is we're going to be adding a little bit of volume to this workout. With regard to the equipment, we're going to need a kettlebell and we're going to need some mats to lay down on. And this is for more of an intermediate or more of a beginner. If you're somebody who's a little bit more late intermediate to advanced and you don't want to wait for the whole 6-month program, consider becoming a member because I have the whole 6-month program outlined in my community tab on the YouTube channel. But with regard to the first exercise, it's going to be the abdominal curl up. We're going to be in a supine position, meaning we're going to be laying down on our back. We're going to have the legs nice and straightened out. We're going to be laying down. We want our lumbar spine and thoracic spine nice and flat on the mat. Our chin is tucked in. Our hands, we're going to place them down by our sides. And then for this exercise right over here, we're going to initiate by tucking the chin toward the chest. And then we're going to create a C-shaped spine with the thoracic and lumbar spine by rounding the spine as much as possible. And we're going to go nice and slowly and then straighten out at the top. And then on the way down, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to create that nice C-shaped curve in the lumbar and thoracic spine all the way down. So we're tucking in the chin, getting the thoracic spine off the ground, and then L1, 2, 3, 4, 5, straighten out at the top, and then on the bottom, we're reversing it. So we're going to touch the L5 to the ground, L4, L3, L2, L1, thoracic spine, and come back down. And that is the abdominal curl-up exercise. Next, we are going to go ahead and we're going to do the external obliques. So for the external obliques, we're going to flex the knees to 90 degrees. With the arm, we're going to cup the opposite shoulder. And then with the opposite arm, we're going to cross the midline. And we want to try and get our hands somewhere in between mid-thigh. And we're going to go into positive torsion by going into a combination of flexion with rotation. So we're trying to bring the opposite shoulder towards the opposite mid-thigh. And then for this exercise right over here, we're just going to go to the level of the L3 or roughly the umbilicus. So we're going to go ahead and go into flexion and rotation and then come back down. We don't need to go all the way up for this exercise because we're focusing on the supra-umbilical fibers of the external obliques. For this one, we're doing 30 repetitions, and I don't know if I mentioned it for the last exercise, but we're doing 40 for the abdominal curl-up. Once we've done 40 of the abdominal curl-up and 30 for the external obliques, next we're going to do the transverse abdominis. So we're going to straighten out our legs. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and raise our belly up toward the sky and expand it as much as possible. This is going to get a nice pre-stretch and create maximum myofascial tension on the transverse abdominis. And then we're going to exhale and draw the belly button down toward the spine. Then that counts as pass 1. For the second pass, we're going to inhale, keep that belly button tucked in. Don't let it raise. Exhale, sink deeper into the spine. Get that belly button nice and flat as much as possible. That's the second pass. Pass 3, we're going to inhale. Don't let the belly button raise. Keep everything nice and tucked in. Exhale, sink deeper into the spine. So let that belly button really sink down deep. We got 2 more passes. Pass number 4, we're going to inhale, keep the belly button tucked in. Exhale, let the belly button sink. And then we have 1 more pass. For the final pass, we're inhaling, keeping that belly button tucked in. Exhaling, letting the belly button sink down toward the spine. Once all 5 passes have been completed, we're going to reset by just inhaling and allowing the belly button to expand, and then exhale. That counts as 1 set. So 5 passes counts as 1 set, and we're going to do 3 total sets for the transverse abdominis strengthening exercise. Once that's been completed, we're going to move on to the lower abdominal muscles. So for the lower abdominals, we're going to be doing the rectus abdominis sub-umbilical fibers, meaning everything below the belly button. We're going to flex the hips and knees to 90 degrees. With the arms, we're going to go ahead and place our arms at the level of the glenohumeral angle, so roughly anywhere from 90 to 135 degrees. And then while maintaining the legs perpendicular to the ground, we're going to drive the knees up toward the sky in a straight line. For this exercise, you don't want to go into extension or flexion of the hips. You want to make sure that they remain perpendicular to the ground the entire time. And the first time that you do this exercise, if you're not that strong, you may not be able to get very high. You may not even be able to get your butt off the ground. The goal is to eventually get up to the level of the umbilicus, but go as high as you possibly can. For this one, we're going to do 30 repetitions. And then once 30 repetitions have been completed, we're going to move on to the sub-umbilical fibers for the external obliques. For that one, we're going to flex the hip and knee to 90 degrees. With the opposite leg, we're going to go into a deduction, adduction of 30 to 45 degrees by crossing the leg over the opposite thigh. And then with the knee, we want to drive the knee toward the opposite shoulder. So once again, we're going into positive torsion, and the arms are at the level of the glenohumeral angle. So we're going to go ahead, lift the butt up off the ground, drive the knee toward the opposite shoulder blade, and we're going to do 20 repetitions for the subumbilical fibers of the external obliques. Once that has been completed, we're going to move on to the thoracic diaphragm strengthening exercise by taking the kettlebell and placing it on the umbilicus or your belly button. We're going to go ahead, take a deep breath in, allow the belly button to expand, and raise the kettlebell up toward the sky. And then exhale. Allow the kettlebell to sink deep toward the spine. We're going to inhale. Kettlebell expands up toward the sky. Exhale. Let it sink down toward the spine. For this exercise, we're going to do 20 total repetitions. And then once all 20 repetitions have been completed, that is it for week 9 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. So quick recap, we have 40 repetitions of the abdominal curl up. We have 30 repetitions of the external obliques, the supra-umbilical fiber, so the one with the hand cupped over the shoulder. We're going to do 3 total sets of 5 passes for the transverse abdominis strengthening exercise. Then we're going to do the sub-umbilical work, so the lower abdominals. We're going to do the lower rectus abdominis by doing the knee hike toward the sky. So for that one, we're doing 30 repetitions. And then for the lower external obliques, we're going to be doing 20 repetitions before finishing off with 20 repetitions of the thoracic diaphragm strengthening exercise. But that is it for week 9 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. And then next week, we're going to be progressing a few of the exercises, and that's going to be for week 10 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine.